Hello everybody, and welcome to something I really don't have a title for yet. But unlike last time where I did a couple videos on Dwarf Fortress, this time I brought in a longtime friend, of course one of the co-hosts of Chilluminati, my good buddy, Alex Faciane.
Hello! Haven't touched the game, haven't seen the game since it was like ASCII. Or whatever it was.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And still can be.
As soon as I really heard about this game, I literally texted Mathas and I was like, you need to do a series where you just pick up storylines from Dwarf Fortress that have been generated and just narrate them like the History Channel. And you would make like $1 million bajillion.
I mean, maybe I will. This game has been in development since 2002 by a pair of brothers, the Tarn brothers, and a couple years back they were picked up by publisher Kit Fox Games, and with them they created basically graphics for Dwarf Fortress, some sound effects, and with them they made a Steam release where the Tarn brothers became millionaires overnight, and they were blown away. They didn't expect it because everything that's featured here.
I mean, get real, Tarn brothers. Yeah, I mean, get real, Tarn brothers.
it's like, it's fantastic. Or Tarn Adams, the Adams brothers, regardless. So the plan here is pretty simple. I want to do a two-part little mini thing where I basically introduce you to the world creation and history of Dwarf Fortress, and then show you a little bit of how the game is played, and at the very end, probably just show you my main fortress, which is like 100 some odd dwarves still running.
I don't even really understand what you, the player, do in this video game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
have you played Grimworld?
I'm again very familiar with the idea of it. I get how it's similar to this.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm so interested. I'm genuinely a captive audience to just have this be explained to me.
I love it. Okay, the first thing anybody's got to do is when you start playing Dwarf Fortress, you have to generate an entire new world. And the way world generation works in Dwarf Fortress is actually pretty fascinating. The very first thing it does is it generates an actual terrestrial landscape, and that is all based on essentially real-world weather simulations. So as the world is generated, a beach can't just appear out of nowhere. It has to make sense with the temperature, where it is in the world, the north, the south, and during the axis, how hot it will be. All that stuff is taken into effect when you create the world. So it makes sense at
the end, basically.
It always makes sense. It's always realistic. And when you start making a world, this is kind of your basic options. So you have a pocket-sized world all the way to large, how many years of history you'd like to simulate before the world is generated, and then a bunch of other things that we're just going to leave alone. But if you really get into Dwarf Fortress, you can also go into detailed mode, and you can genuinely change everything about
you could be like, this is flat world, this is chasm
literally
world.
You can get rid of everything. I read people who do like all volcano worlds, like all kinds of crazy stuff. We're not going to worry about that, obviously, but just to give you an idea, the general kind of default is 100 years of history. You can go up to 500 years, but the higher you go, the longer it's going to take, because it's when the history is being written for the world, characters are coming into creation, marriages, relationships, empires, kids, families, villains, everything is being tracked.
How does that work?
Well, let's watch. So we'll stick at 100 years. Nice and simple. Unless you want to do 250, but it's only gonna take like a couple minutes to do 250, about a minute to do 100. What do you want to do?
I want to do 4,000 years. You know what I mean? I want to know.
Let's do 250 then for now.
Yeah, let's go.
250 for now.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
So we'll hit create world. It's gonna kind of it's right now generating the physical world that this entire story is gonna take place on.
The splines, if you will.
Yeah, reticulating splines, exactly. And here's the world. It's generating right now. We can only see a portion of it.
It really looks
we'll be able to
like
scroll around the map.
Yeah.
So we got a big mountain range over here. We got rivers. And you're going to see civilizations and homes begin to pop up along riversides, ocean sides, and roads being built between them. We have giant mountain homes here, which are likely dwarves. Elves probably live in here. And over on this, you're watching history generate. This world's name is Shagthunra, which translates to the ever-seeing world. That's the name of the planet that we've generated. Before it got us this physical planet, it tried 11 different times. None of them were appropriate to the simulation of generating real-world continents, and it threw them out. So there were 11 worlds that were rejected before we got what we see here.
What?
And under here, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like metaphysically complex.
It is. And then underneath here, we're simulating 250 years of history. There are typically 2 ages you'll see, depending on how things go, the Age of Myth and the Age of Heroes. And that's dictated by how many kind of supernatural beings are wandering around and how many mortal beings are walking around. And at the moment, at year 131 out of 150, there are 23,580 some odd historical figures, meaning people that have been generated, are living lives, are making decisions. You can see books are being written. Civilizations are being established, wars, trading, politics, all of this is being generated. Every book, every item that is created during the history portion of this.
And physically exists all throughout the timeline.
Exactly.
This is a great idea for even just like making a D&D setting. Like this is like,
dude, people use that.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Isn't it just like the idea of like, this is stuff we don't even get to. This is just building the history in which we will inhabit when we create our fort.
This
and
is
we
what
create
I feel.
our
Yeah,
stuff.
this is what I feel like they can see in the Matrix when they like look at the fucking code and they're like, oh yeah, look, there he is. He's running.
Dude,
yeah,
that's exactly what this is like. I don't know how much you know about programming, but for 20 some odd years, Dwarf Fortress ran on a single thread on a CPU no matter what.
Oh. So this is just like somebody's insane wizard science project. This is just like pure raw magic in its this is just some weird internet creation that exists that we all know about.
There's like the updates make no real sense in terms of like what they prioritize. Like last big update brought in the schemes thing where NPCs can scheme for years and pay people off and interact with them to create agents to overthrow like all that shit was like the villainy and something update, villainy and plots or something along those lines. The next one they're introducing, which is like maybe their biggest one in a while, is there's magic in the world, but they're introducing a proper magical simulation system with rules and stuff. And when you generate world, they're saying you could generate a world where the gods themselves like withhold magic and there's very little magic in the world, or you could generate a world where magic is fucking everywhere. It's insane.
Like I feel like for somebody like you, this is just endgame. Like you're just done. Like you don't need any more games.
It really feels like that sometimes.
Oh wow, the map is. Oh okay.
Yeah, so we were locked in a place because of it generating. We were just locked to this point, and you can see huge human civilizations up here, huge dwarven civilization down here, and there's a few other areas that like, oh wow, even down here, and you can see the further down you go, it's kind of where the ice is.
Do you ever feel like you're on the Enterprise?
Little bit. It almost feels like it's simulated to the too real. Sometimes I'm like, are we like real close to just like creating life inside of Dwarf Fortress?
Like, do you think that Dwarf Fortress will ever notice that people are playing? Like,
God, that would be wild.
Yeah.
There's I think in the
existential
video
crisis
game,
update.
This is yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna swing back out real quick. Now that this is done, it's gonna save the world.
That's unbelievable. Just what we just watched alone was unbelievable. I don't know if that's exciting for everybody watching as much as it is for me, but what we just witnessed alone, like if you've never seen Dwarf Fortress before, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what were your thoughts on it? I'm just like, that always for me is the history generation is one of the most exciting parts for me because you just don't know. I had a whole world where somebody, a dwarf, found out the secrets of necromancy really early, and he had a book that taught necromancy, and he put it in the public library of his town, and like 6 people became necromancers, and a whole portion of the world was just dominated by necromancer towers.
Why the fuck could that even happen? Okay, like...
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, ask anything you want.
Another thing that's crazy to me is like, it's just because probably that this is made by 2 people that the graphics engine is like grid-based Super Nintendo. Like if they wanted, they could make this into like a 3D game like quite easily just by like mapping it into like some sort of environment, right? Like I don't know, like there's something very powerful about this that I feel is like kind of scary in a sci-fi way. Like
yes,
you know what I mean?
You're able to phrase things in such interesting ways that just like make total sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It captures my imagination in a big way.
Yeah, me too. It just really, it's endless. So adventure mode isn't here yet for Steam. Fortress mode is your typical think RimWorld, but a lot more detailed. We'll worry about all that.
Fortress is like a gameplay game. Yeah.
That's how you play the game right now.
An adventure is a one-player game.
Roguelike, yeah. It's like a roguelike where you can just jump into the world and explore it. But Legends mode is where the history of the world is and some of the most fun, like interesting stories that can be found. So we've got here after 250 years in the ever-seeing world, 43,442 historical figures that were tracked, 1,169 sites on the map, 309 artifacts, over 9,000 codices, scrolls, books, etc., 339 regions, 244 underground regions, over 3,000 civilizations and entities, over 1,100 structures, and never ever left the age of myth, which means a lot of the bigger, kind of weirder creatures weren't slain by people. Usually, after they get slain, it moves to the age of heroes, where mortals are more like powerful.
Like it's like different sort of like prefigured world states that kind of happen.
Yeah, well, it just depends on what the NPCs choose. I've had a world enter the age of heroes in year 50, where they like the enemies got crushed really quickly. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wait. So
here's our. Go ahead.
This is just what my brain is thinking about right now.
Please.
Going off
this is all about this.
Yeah, going off this historical figures situation.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking on the show the other day about a bottleneck in human population that occurred before we split between like Asiatic and African.
Right. Yes, we
humans,
were
like a long time ago, and there was 43,000 or something historical figures just now that we just looked at. 43,000 of them, and for like tens of thousands of years or something like that, on the real Earth, it just makes me think about the fact that there were only like. What was it, like 12,000 humans or something like that?
No,
for a while?
1,000 humans. Yeah, at that lowest point.
Yeah, so I don't know. This seems kind of crazy. Like this seems like a lot. This seems like a big crazy thing.
And they were all tracked. And so we're inside the historical figures tab right now.
So these are just everyone that ever existed.
Everyone that ever existed, completely tracked in this world alone. And you can look at all of them. You could see the D means death date. So this thing, whatever this is, the female dragon. Nefi Birafakla, meaning Nefi treasure taxes the sizzling fires. A dragon, she died in the year 57. Yeah, it's that random generation of like things. But the thing is, dwarves will name things not just randomly, but based on their history, their emotional state. Like dwarves can get traumatized. And you can scroll way down. You can see people born, dead, born, dead, born, dead.
So what are the ones that are not born then?
So these are like what you would. So let's see right here. This female bronze colossus right here.
Those are like the mythical beasts.
Yeah, Aphili Savage Bit the Dangerous is a bronze colossus. If we click on her, we could see her whole history.
Okay,
all the way down to present, where she is right now.
So that's like its interactions with other creatures and
we'll look a little bit. And this is things that it's come into contact with, that's made enemies with, and it's all of these creatures.
And it's been alive since the beginning of time.
Yes, and then you can see it's killed 157 things. It's killed 157, and they're all different individuals that had lives.
Oh, man, I want to know what has the highest kill count.
Oh, I wonder if there's a way we can look. I bet you
there's like some kind of extension or like some kind of, you know what I mean?
So to give you an idea, like we can look here. Aphili the Savage Bit the Dangerous was a bronze colossus. It was one of the only ones of its kind. It was associated with war, strength, and metals. In year 1, she existed along with world creation, and she existed and settled in the Cyclopean desert. In year 9, so about 7 years later, she became the enemy of a couple of villages, Ivory Shan, the Deer of Good. And she came across an elf and attacked the elf, and she struck him down. As villages are popping up where she lived, they're just declaring her an enemy because she's wandering the desert.
They're
she's
like, what the fuck is that?
Literally, yeah, exactly. And throughout her whole history, she just fights and kills things. Things are probably being sent out to try and kill it. They all keep losing because she just hasn't died.
And this thing did not die, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you can see even little details of like the dwarf Alath severe tools attacked it, and its left upper leg was smashed by the Colossus. And he ran and escaped. He managed to escape his onslaught after that. The dwarf just ran away.
Amazing. And then just never bothered it again, probably.
Probably. We can even click on him and see where his history is. And we can see like...
Struck down by Ushrir Throne Fence. Oh my god. This is crazy.
Yeah, you didn't like that's I don't think people realize like a lot of the depth of this game.
That it's just such a free, like, I don't know, like if you don't really care that much about what your story is about, like if you want to just like fictionalize and write, like it's like easy mode historical research fiction that you can just like no fact is unavailable to you.
Right. No, yeah, you can click on, all these are clickable. You can look at the context of anything in color. Her life was really boring, if you think about it. She was a dwarf that was born in 29, and at 1 year old, the Colossus attacked. They left, her leg got smashed, but she ran away. In the year 41, when she's 9 years old, the Yeti, Dodok Last Comet's the Foggy attacked her, and she fought with Alath, but she escaped unscathed.
Damn,
and then
three times.
3 years later, a different Yeti attacked her, and she ran out unscathed. And then attacked again 2 years later by another Yeti.
No, the same Yeti.
Oh yeah, it's Split Roots. Yeah.
He came back 2 years later. That's so crazy. And lost again. Still didn't get his prey.
Yeah, she ran away. And
so
then in the year 47, she just became a beekeeper in Lost Shield, which is a town. And then she gave up being a beekeeper a few years later to become a dancer in the same town. And then the town was assaulted by the assault of disembowelers, and she was struck down by Ushrir Throne Fence in that attack, and that was her life. She got attacked a bunch, ran away a bunch, finally got to settle down, and the town she settled in got attacked and she died.
So, okay, here's my pitch for a Dwarf Fortress show, okay?
Okay, I'm all ears.
It's Mathas, King of the Multiverse. And you're trying, in every season, you try and find like somebody, like season 1, you try and find the deadliest thing that ever lived in like, one universe. And then, next season, you try and find the like most, the biggest drinker. I don't know.
Yeah, you can do all
champions
of
the Multiverse. Yeah.
Yeah, and just take what it gives and write story about it, really.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the game, there's not, there's some imagination there, but it's more like the real details in between. The major decisions are all being made by the simulation itself, by these individual things that are existing in this world who are moving around and like living lives.
It's unbelievable. Like, I struggle to even understand really how it's all happening, and like everything, like these all occupy a physical position in the world too. Is that right?
Correct.
That's so nuts.
They're all can be found.
Even
you
their
can
dead
literally
bodies?
click on them. Yeah, there are tombs and graveyards and stuff. When you're maintaining your fortress, those bodies, not only are there bodies, but they rot away slowly and like leave bones over time, and have maybe sealed in with their family artifact weapon that they might have.
So do you have? So is there ways to search like particularly amazing characters? Like, how did you find that like blacks, like the like necromancer who put the Necromancy Book in the public library? Like,
so for that, I went into like the codices and scrolls, and I clicked on something random, and it ended up being the Book of Necromancy. And then I clicked on the person who wrote it, and I just backtracked to see where the origin.
So you
of
really
this
had
thing
to
was.
find. You really just had to draw the picture for yourself.
Yeah,
And
really,
that's
you had to kind of like dig
mode
for it. Yeah, you kind of get to like see the thing. Like right here, this is all the books and scrolls and slabs that were written on, and they can be something as simple as For the Love of Rainfall, which is a galena, which is a type of mineral-bound codex. If you click on it, this is For the Love of Rainfall was a legendary galena-bound codex. Written portion consists of a 170-page manual entitled For the Love of Rainfall, authored by Narina Islamaruna. It concerns the origin of rainfall through evaporation and condensation. Overall, the prose is passable, and then it tracks the book. In mid-autumn of 27, it was created, and then early autumn of 64, it got stored in the scholarly bastion of meditating in a different town entirely by an elf named Narina Magic Panther.
Is Narina Isila Renuna the same as Narina Magic Panther?
Ooh, yeah, she might have gotten married, actually. That's a good question. We can see.
Narina Magic Panther. Oh, that's just her translation.
Yep. Oh, that's the translation. Okay, yep. So yeah, same exact person. So she moved, wow, 27, 37, 47, 57.
I saw that somebody in her life was just denied an apprenticeship. Like, how deep does this go?
Dude, exactly. Like when I show you the fort, every single dwarf has dreams.
How
trauma.
much is this? How much is this?
$30 on Steam or free if you go download it off their website.
$30 on Steam, and you have like a universe printer.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It really is just like a world printer in fantasy.
I would never do any sort of active activity in this game at all. I would just
this is just enough for you to like dig through.
If Legends mode was this whole game, that's my ideal video game.
Right. I mean, and that's what's here. Like, look, you can even see she became lovers with somebody. They broke up a few years later. It tracks everything. Like their emotions, their wants, their needs.
There should be more games like this. This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
But that's the thing. It's like you got to think about, okay, but also took them 21 years to get to this point. So like you have historical figures. Is there anything you want to go like click on and just randomly go take a look at?
I want to know about artifacts. I don't even know what any of this stuff. Okay. I don't even know what an artifact is.
Let's look at artifacts.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of these tabs. Click on artifacts. There's 309 of them. On the right-hand side, you can see the type of artifact it is. On the left-hand side, the name of the artifact.
Bismuth,
so we've got like
bronze,
an amulet, a hematite amulet called Night Matches. We've got a bunch of bows, some swords,
Wade
goblin
Golf,
bone
the
toy axe. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just reading them to myself. Sorry.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, like, dude, what? Okay, wait. Are they all weapons? What is Sunder Rose, the paper of amber, a bismuth bronze? What?
Sunder Rose, the paper of amber, a bismuth bronze battle axe. All right, it's a bismuth bronze battle axe. Its name is Ingazkolung. Yeah, I love that. Sunder Rose, the paper of amber. Let's see. This is made by a dwarf. It's encrusted. It is encrusted with cushion-cut picture jaspers, decorated with giant ulm bone, and encircled with bands of rectangular Savarite cabacons.
I am buying this game immediately. This is shocking to me.
And all of that had to be sourced. They had to mine it. They had to refine it. They actually had to make it. And so it was created in anguished relics by the dwarf by the name of Tun Townheats.
Love his name.
And he made it for his family. He immediately became a family heirloom.
It was just his like pinnacle of his skill, huh?
Yeah. And then 50 years later, in the year 104, this weapon was lost in Walwilt. It was looted from Walwilt then the same year by an elf by the name of Fasici Jawroard during the pillaging of Walwilt. So elves attacked and pillaged the town he was in and snatched it from his house.
Okay, so
maybe even killing it.
So can I ask a question then? So 56, we know it's created at Anguished Relics, which is the name of a town.
Yeah.
Right? And then we know Walwilt is where it was lost.
Yeah,
I'm years later. So how did it get from one to the other? Is there some way to know that?
Yeah, so I'm clicking on the man who created it real quick. Let's see.
Anguished
Relics.
Oh, yeah, wait.
Right here.
He went to Walwilt.
Yeah, there you go. And because it's a family heirloom, he took it with him. And in the year 50...
He died to a grizzly bear attack.
In the year 59, he gave up being a weaponsmith and became a poet. So he created his masterpiece family heirloom and then was like, I'm done. This is the best I'll ever do.
3 years later, he got married and then he gave up the job.
Yep, yeah.
And then he got a rival poet 8 years later.
A business rivalry. Based in a boldness, he authored a book. He wrote a few different books. He had a lover. And then, he was attacked by a grizzly bear. A grizzly bear attacked the town, and it fucking killed him. And I bet you that grizzly bear was part of the elven attack, because the bear and wildlife and elves are kind of like go hand in hand.
So elves can like send in bears to do their bidding, like Far Cry 5.
Or they'll attack with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can see like his whole family line, his mother, his father, the god that he worshipped. The gods are generated independently per world. There's no god that's the same. Oh, look,
and he killed 2 grizzly bears and 5 elves.
Yeah, so he defended the best he could before he was struck down.
Wow.
And his former apprentice, he had a young son, former spouse. Like, that's the kind of shit that this is like following. And so this artifact was created by him, taken to the town for 50 years. He lived in peace and lost it during an attack from the elves. And you can see the kills that the sword had. The sword killed an elf, a dwarf, an elf, an elf, an elf, an elf, an elf, an elf, a human, and a human.
Whoa.
I know the people can't see it. You and I are just hanging out, but you look like stunned.
The amount of data like it generated in like 5 seconds, like when I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I'm always so eager to it's like me being a kid nerding out, wanting to show my friends a really cool video game.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I want to see.
You guys don't know how cool this is until you understand what you're looking at.
I want to see a non-weapon. I want to see
right here.
Yeah.
Chilluminati amulet.
Yeah, let's
named Sync Lens. Or we could scroll down even. Let's go fucking down here
let's
somewhere.
go see what the fuck.
We got a dwarf bone ring, a literal ring made out of dwarven bones called Bust Buried to the Limb of Strangulation.
No, let's see what the hell that's about.
Oh, that's quick, too.
Oh, shit.
Dwarf bone ring. It is encircled with bands of rectangular mica cabicons. It was created in Hoof's vault by the dwarf Olin Laborvigor, and was a family heirloom, and it's still in his possession, essentially. So he just made it, and it's his.
Wow. Okay, so that's just nothing. That's just
less interesting.
Like a chill one, yeah?
Yeah, less interesting. Let's see.
A gypsum mug, the Cavern of Righteousness. Let's do that one.
Another one that was just kind of made by Deller Judge Daggers.
But I guess that's most
heirloom.
Items in the world anyway.
I know.
Like in the actual world. Oh my god.
They family heirlooms.
I am absolutely gobsmacked right now. Human skull totem. Let's go.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah.
Embraced Genius is the name of this thing.
One word.
Oh my god! Look at this thing. Holy crap. Okay. Let's see. It's a human skull totem. It was received. Okay. The Embraced Genius received its name in glided lulls from the human Kima. Yeah, the Kima stuck sweep in order to sanctify the human Bengal shove blots by preserving a part of the body.
So it's like a sainted relic. It's like a relic of this thing that let him become a saint.
And yeah, and then it was stored in the Chapel of Singing
and then people
in glided lulls.
In like pilgrimages.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at people are making pilgrimages to view this thing.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's just viewed by humans.
So when was it created?
It was created in 141.
Okay. And then look, a necromancer came.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
70 years, 60 years people came or more.
They just keep looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and it's still there. It's still, if adventure mode was in, you could create a character, go find that town, see the chapel, and see the skull in the chapel. And take it if you want.
That is so insane. That is so insane.
I don't know. Yeah, there's no other real word to fucking describe it. It's no game can reach the depth this game has. This game has unnecessary depth to it. Like RimWorld does similar, but no, when you understand the depth of simulation, RimWorld isn't anywhere close. It replicates it though in a very good way by just, instead of creating simulation, it's randomized.
Yeah.
And it can create very similar stories.
And you know what it is? It's like a tarot deck of narrative. You are still doing the work, right? This is just a bunch of numbers that clicked. You know what I mean?
The numbers that under a certain set of rules are being tracked and clicked.
That's all that's happening here. But you now, what is this, a mug?
So this is a mug. Yeah, this is a bismuthinite mug. I just wanted to see, while you were talking, pop something else up. This was created in 150 by a dwarf. He offered it to the dwarf Melville Ringdoors of the Portents of Pages, and then it got claimed by the Portents of Pages and was stored in the Castle of Gerbils in crude lanterns by the dwarf Melville, who he basically gave it to.
What are orange things?
So if we click on that, it's a fortress.
So orange things are fortresses that are next to villages.
Yeah, so the Arches of Birth of the Portents of Pages founded this fortress.
And those are dwarven fortresses of industry and commerce. And
where people live and all kinds of stuff,
sure.
giant villages. And then through the years,
how is it was claimed from afar?
From afar, people, Brownfeed was being claimed by different people from afar.
What does that mean?
Meaning they were laying claim to it and they wanted to come get it, but nobody came to get it until it was looted from the castle by the human Strahl Throwpraise during the 4th conquest of crude lanterns.
When did he claim it?
So he claimed it by people can say, that's mine. That belongs to me. And they may do so because they think they have a familial line to it, or they just heard of
So why would all these people do this?
Well, if we click on this guy, this is the Necromancer. It's interesting to do a Necromancer history, honestly. So let's take a look at this person real quick. This is a person who claimed it but never went for it. Is a human Necromancer born in 124, the 3rd eldest daughter of their parents. In the early autumn of 125, Uthra became a member of the Russet Fellowship, which these are like guilds or towns.
Yeah.
She became a Gelder in Glosskold, and in 143 fought on the Stormy Siege and assault on Weak Feasts. She found somebody and fell in love. A few years later, they broke up. Found somebody else a couple years later, broke up, stopped being a Gelder, settled in a new town, became a woodcutter, and then at some point, let's find where we can, because she's just her moving around, trying to like, settle in somewhere.
But look, okay, like
right here.
Yeah, in
185.
In 164, she joined a village called the Sext of Heather.
Let's see what this is. It was a human religion of the ever-seeing world centered around the worship of Mogum Waxyborn, a human goddess of the seasons. She joined a religion, the Sect of Heather.
And then just out of nowhere, like 20 years later, after she gave up her whole life and became the Diamond of Whispering, she
renamed herself, took a new identity.
She decided to claim the mug from afar, and she never met it before this, right?
No, so there's rumors and information trickles out from like. She wouldn't have known about it simply because she's, programmed to. She would have heard rumors of people traveling through that told her about it. And then in 197, for one reason or another, she became obsessed with her own mortality. Maybe she's just aging, and sought to extend her life by any means due to envy of those that live on. So that was her motivation. And then finally, 5 years later, a human necromancer by the name of Abba Forest Church arrived in town and taught her the secrets of life and death. And at that point, she became an apprenticeship under this necromancer and started learning how to become a necromancer.
This is what I'm saying about the tarot thing. It's like, we are doing the work of putting this narrative together using these like very detailed and like substantiated elements that this computer program is just randomly creating for us. And it's just so insane to me.
Well, I can't wait to show you like dwarves and like their personality. Maybe I'll give you a taste of that just by showing you one before we end the episode and we pick up with that. But at the very end of her life, or not her end of her life because she's a necromancer, but she settled. She became a master of the Trest Radiances, which is, I imagine, another religion. Was just a group of people. But eventually she was arrested. Huh. Yeah, she got arrested and thrown in prison at some point. So like her life kind of ended in prison, more or less.
And she just stayed there till the end of time.
That's where she is right now.
Yeah.
Like right now you can go find her being in prison.
That is so insane to me.
And like that is less than 1% of the things that were generated in this very specific world.
My imagination is totally captured by this.
That's exactly what I wanted to happen.
It's insane that I'm going to
walk away.
Yeah, from this world is like not even the world of Dwarf Fortress. This is just like Mathas's like computer farting out a little world in 2 minutes while we wait.
A medium-sized world.
Yeah.
You can go up to 500 years, or if you go into the detailed, you can literally set it up to generate 4,000 years of history if that's what you want.
I'm doing it.
I want to know what happens when you do that.
I'm going to buy this just to do that. I'm going to do it one time, and then I'm going to spend the rest of my fucking life reading about the world that I made with a video game.
I love that this game can do that. It's fucking
and
crazy.
It literally can. It's like not a cheat. It's like really doing it.
It's running simulations. Like this is like when you listen to the Addams Brothers talk, like this has been their dream game, and they were like, let's just do it. Let's just do it on our own.
Shocking. It's shocking.
It is. So, this is like, you can see anything from here. We could go through this for literal weeks if we want to. So before we wrap up today, just the introduction, I hope I've been able to, at the very least, crack, the understanding of Dwarf Fortress a little more for you.
It's,
as to what it can do.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's show you, I just want to show you a little bit of my main one, just because I'm going to click on a dwarf, and I just want to show you the depth of which an individual dwarf is simulated, even in a full-on game while you're playing.
So now we're going into Fortress mode, is that right?
This is Fortress mode. We're not going to play a ton with it right now. Let's go to this is my entrance to my fort. We'll worry about this later. For right now, you can see up here, my town is a population of 106. There's 106 people that call this fortress home with a varying range of happiness. And there's other people that are just visiting. I have an open fort, and a few levels down, I have a tavern.
My God.
I have a tavern down here that people come to, and you can see there's like, before there was a naked goblin running around singing, like a naked goblin bard. You can see a goblin here. We've got this, whatever this guy is. I don't know.
Naked fishery worker, man?
Yeah, I guess he's a dwarf.
Dude, look at this info. Oh my God.
There's humans, goblins. I have one human who calls this place home. He has his own room and everything. He's one human among dwarves. And then deeper down, I've got like the dining area. It needs to be cleaned up. I still am like working on it. Further down, I've got my workshop. That's where I fought a huge beast, where all things are done.
How do you tell them what to do?
Yeah, so you queue up like I need doors or whatever, and I'll click on this. Well, that's the next episode. All right, we'll worry about that another time.
I'm so mind blown that you can even do anything after you've already done something so amazing. Like the only frontier beyond this is like a handcrafted world this large.
I know. That's how I feel too.
That's the only frontier beyond this.
And even a couple levels down, -4 elevation. This is where I have my marshal, my captain of the squad. And if you look at the minimap, I created like a sword room for him. This is where he conducts justice, prison, and stuff like that. And this is his office down here.
Very JRPG vibes. I love that.
Very. So here's my list of people. These are all my dwarves. I just want to pick. I'm gonna pick one random. This is this guy right here. He's working on a wooden chair. His name's Erush Razalok. So this is the level of simulation each dwarf has. You could take a look at his relationships with people. He's got a few close friends. He's a kindred spirit in the bookkeeper here. He's got a passing. He's got a deity that he worships, Eclatable. He's part of the Trade of Vices, which is the government here. And he's a citizen of the orb, or Earth Orb of Clenching, which is where he came from, not where he lives now. He's not in any military. He's not part of our military. And here is simply his thoughts. So his thoughts, starting all the way at the bottom, like things like he was delighted after watching a performance in the tavern.
He didn't see anything after seeing a naked mole dog's dead body.
Yep, there was a dead naked mole dog from a fight, and he didn't feel anything from seeing it. Some people can feel sickened or saddened or all kinds of things. Like he was annoyed when he got caught in the rain.
Okay, so wait. So let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
So that lady Uthra that we were talking about earlier, who's in jail or whatever happened to her, right? If we went to her, and I'm not saying she's in this world, but like she's in that other world.
Yeah.
And if we went to her in jail and she's sitting there in jail, can we just go back and look at this granular of her data?
If we can find her in game, you can click on her and like look at a bunch of different stuff.
Can't you just search her by name in game?
I don't. In the legend mode you can, but you can't get this. As far as I know, I don't think you can get this far granular detail from legends mode. You need to like get to them.
That's what I mean. Like if we found her in the game and clicked on her,
yes, you would get all of this.
Yeah. So we
all of this.
But you can't see all her. What about memories?
There are things like you won't see, and it won't tell you until you get to know them more, or they become like there are people who arrive and you can like click on their personality and it says they have to be around, and the dwarves have to get to know them more before you learn about their personality.
I see.
So there's some things that might be locked away before you like
Interesting.
kind of. So this is like his thoughts, satisfied from working, satisfied after getting into an argument, blissful, remembering sleeping in a very good bedroom because he's got a great bedroom.
What are his memories?
It makes him really. So we can go here and we can take a look at his memories up from Spring 100, because when you create your base level 7, the 7 dwarves you're going to take and make a game with, they're not pulled from the history. They're randomly generated for you.
Right.
Immigrant waves that you get, though, do come from the Dwarven kingdoms later on.
Amazing.
Yeah. So this guy came right away, and you can see, like, he was, in his memories, he was satisfied remembering felling trees. He really likes to knock down trees. Remembers talking to a friend. Wonder, remembering communing with the Pointy Canyon, which I imagine is like some god or something. Yeah. Blissful, remembering sleeping in a good room. Uneasy, dwelling upon seeing Bim, board saved, die, which was one of the people that were in this dwarf. This is during gameplay. This happened during my run through.
He watched somebody die, and
he watched somebody die, and it caused him. And it caused him to learn to value peace.
2 years ago, he had a perspective shift because he watched someone die.
And literal dwarves' personalities change.
You could write a whole story just about that.
Yeah, absolutely. If I can find maybe somebody who just came through. Here's a human bard. Let's just see what this guy's about.
This is unbelievable.
This is not a guy who came with me anywhere. This is not a guy he started with. Let's see if we can get to his memories. Yeah, he only let us know about a few things. Doesn't really talk too much. This guy has got, you can see his relationship. Oh yeah, woman, human bard, Como playful bathed. And this is just her relationship tab because she's been around for a long time. Look at nieces and nephews of different people. Uncles, younger half-sister, younger half-brothers, aunts, older mothers, father who's here right now that we can go look at.
There he is.
And look at his like relationships with everybody.
This is and this is a new person who just showed up.
Yeah, and so everybody has a personality as well. And if you click on it, you can see that this person in particular has a natural ability with music, a very good sense of empathy, a very good sense of the position of her own body and willpower. She has meager ability with social relationships, questionable spatial sense, poor analytical abilities, and a shortage of patience. And then it describes her a bit like she is not readily moved by art or natural beauty, and she is conflicted by this as she values artwork in its creation. She's grounded in reality, and she finds the humor in most situations. She's quick to anger, tries to do things correctly each time, generally acts impartially, and is rarely moved to mercy. She generally finds herself hopeful about the future, isn't particularly curious about the world, often nervous, and is a friendly individual. Tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects, meaning she might use a few more supplies than she needs.
What the fuck?
Exactly! I love your face. You look fucking confused.
She has a greedy streak? Like, what the fuck? How do you... does it change?
As things happen to her, yeah, things change. Then there's people like this who like have little physical tics. Like she holds her breath when she's nervous. She scratches her nose when she's thinking.
So for some reason, she could survive, like, say, a poison gas leak in an attack, maybe because she held her breath because she was nervous.
Yep.
Just by the random roll of the dice of that simulation using that data for some reason. That is
more or less.
I mean, I don't know if that can specifically happen, but like that's how granular this is. Like just systems interacting in unexpected ways over and over and over again, just like real life.
That's exactly it, dude. And like under the personality, the things I was reading you were just like the basic traits. Like this one, her hands are animated when she speaks. There's no need to know that. But the game tracks every individual digit of the body. Every finger, every thumb, every toe, down to skeletal, nervous system, muscle, skin, and the layers of clothes on top of it.
Used to run on one thread.
Yeah, which is the way games would end for people who were very good at Dwarf Fortress and can make like forts last a long time. FPS death is what they would call it. When there were just too many things and it would just chug and chug and chug. And each like tick of time would take multiple like seconds before it would go over. Like you have a tab of her values, what she values in her culture, her highest ideals and celebrates talented artisans, her preferences.
Her idea of war was formulated by seeing a dead body. Look at that. She personally believes the idea of war is utterly repellent and would have peace at all costs due to seeing Bim board saves dead body in 101.
The same body that fucked up that other guy.
And she has dreams. She wants a family.
She wants a family. She has preferences, and like there's things like her physical description. You can see that she is rarely sick. Her nose bridge is incredibly concave. She has high cheekbones. Her lips are thin. Her medium-length hair is braided. Her hair is charcoal. Her skin is sepia, and her eyes are amethyst.
Amazing.
And that's just fucking... And that is like the quickest dip into Dwarf Fortress.
How does anybody even want to do anything? I just want to read. I could just make Vachi video about this universe forever.
You could. And like, you know, I'll scroll out a bit here just to give you an idea of like, you know, I overbuild things like how big they are. But like this game, this is like where this is just the living quarters where I have rooms. This is the office because she requires an office of our mayor who recently got elected from just expedition leader. We got so big that we got recognized as a city and now we have a mayor instead.
What the fuck?
It's bananas. It's just bananas. And so it goes all the way up and the entrance is right here.
And this is just the size of one little entrance in one giant world, like.
Yep, one little town. The entrance is right there. You go down a level. This is the first room that you come across, which is just like storage and stuff in my farms for making drinks. Then you go down another one, which is like you can see my caskets where I'm going to be burying people.
God bless
another tunnel.
The people who made this video game.
So, if you want more, Alex, we could do one more in the next few days.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to see like some actual
Yeah,
gameplay.
I'm fascinated. I just want to know, how could you dare interact with this world? Like, it feels like breaking Prime Directive. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
They're alive in there, bro.
That's how it feels, right? And that, like, the person I broke down in such granular detail, that's one of over 100 different ones living in just my fortress.
Your fortress. There's like tens of thousands of people in the world.
There's a whole, look, you can click on it and there's a whole, you can go onto the map. There's news and rumors around the world. Every season, basically traders come and they will give you information as to what the world's like out there right now, because there's no other way for you to know unless you send armies out.
Yeah.
Like,
stunning.
that's the crazy shit. And
Stunning.
that, Alex, is where we're going to leave Dwarf Fortress for now. And I hope like I said, I've cracked the surface of curiosity. And I'm showing you why I'm so fucking hooked on this game.
I can just see you making 1 million episodes of this show of showing people with Dwarf Fortress and them just being like, what the fuck? Are you serious? What? It's absolutely nuts.
I'm glad. I hope you do actually pick up the game and check it out for yourself.
I'm literally going to go buy it right now just to do Legends mode.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you get out of that.
Yeah.
What generates for you in your world and how different it is.
Shocking.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching this weird little series. We'll call it Mathas Rules the Multiverse. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I love that. And we'll be back with the part 2 with Alex in a few days as we kind of show him how the game is played. And then we'll show him how a big fort like this runs after you've seen kind of the initial steps of getting yourself situated and set up in Dwarf Fortress. Hopefully enough so that you can open up not just Legends mode, but Fortress mode and feel confident enough to give it a try.
It feels like playing God. It almost feels immoral to play. How real it is. Amazing.